Hi everyone! So in this video, I'm going to be giving a general overview of what went into my application, as well as some tips, advice that I have for the general college process, but also for specifically MIT. Yeah, so let's get into it. So I don't think I can access my application anymore, but for the 4 activities that I put down for MIT, the first one I put down was a volunteer program that I founded in March of 2020, and it is about connecting seniors who are struggling with isolation with high schoolers and college students so that they can call every week and form really meaningful connections and friendships. It's something that I basically spend every day of my life doing now. Whether I'm calling my own buddy or just working on connecting more people, sending emails, updating the website, things like that. It's something that I'm really passionate about, if not the thing I am most passionate about. So I really wanted to showcase that in the application. The next thing is my SOS president position at my school. SOS stands for Students for Organized Service. So what I do as SOS president is encourage student bodies to get involved in their community, explore their passions and interests through community service, and just volunteer as much as possible, really give back to the community. So I wanted to put this on my application because I'm really passionate about volunteering and community service. So my next EC is my CSA position. CSA is a club at my school that works with local farms to bring fresh organic produce to our school every week. We basically order all of this stuff a couple of days in advance and then package it all for the shareholders to pick up. So the last thing I put on there is that I'm an active ranked fencer. Yeah. There's also a summer activities portion of the MIT application. So for that one, I put down 2 courses that I took at Stanford. I put down a research program that I did with Pioneer Academics, in which I wrote a 30-page research paper about comfort women under the guidance of an NYU adjunct professor. This is under the job section, but I put down the internship that I did at the Senior Foundation because it was paid. I also put down that I just read a book, because that was one of the things they listed as a possibility, called One Last Stop. Good, I recommend. I also put down that I was working on expanding Gems Connect because it has several branches across the country and also in India. That's all I can remember. Again, it doesn't really matter what I did, as long as you just showcase everything that you've done and you're proud of, then you're fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. I'm not going to be providing any specific stats because I feel it's not very helpful to compare yourself to others like that. If you're really interested in seeing what the average MIT admits stats are, you can find that on the website, and I've linked it in the description below. I also don't think it's super helpful to compare yourself to others because everyone's situation is different. So in terms of GPA and class rank, I don't really know where I fall with that. My school doesn't do class rank, but my academics were pretty strong overall. I only had 2 A-minuses in my freshman year, and everything else was an A. Yeah, don't feel like you need to get a certain score or do some sort of extracurricular in order to get in. You are your own person, and I'm sure you have your own quirks and talents and passions, and then just as long as you show that in your application, I think you'll be fine. Okay, so now on to my essays. I'm not going to read them out because that would take way too long, so I'll just give a little summary of what I talked about in each of the essays. So for the what do you do for fun essay, I wrote about my passion for baking and specifically the food blog that I created and I've been working on since I was in 9th grade. For the ways to contribute to the community essay, I talk about Gems Connect and how it's grown since March 2020. For the cultural background and identity essay, I wrote about this Chinese phrase, a bowl of soup distance, and how that's affected my relationships with my family and my friends. For the world I come from essay, I talked about how my mom is a role model for me. She's always working to help other people, and then it inspires me to do my part to help others as well. For the what field of study appeals to me most right now is I just put down business and management. First, I talked a little bit about why I like it in general, and then I tied it into why specifically MIT at the end of the last 2 sentences. So for recommendation letters, I got a letter from my physics teacher and my humanities teacher in a class that's a mix of English, history, and art. I also had an additional recommendation letter from the president of the senior foundation that I work with in my volunteer program. So there was that too. Don't feel like you have to have an additional recommendation letter. If you have someone who can like add a lot to your application, your character, really like shine a new light on who you are as a person, that's great. I would totally go for it. But if you feel like you don't really have anyone on the top of your head who can write a letter like that for you, or you still think it's very necessary to have that additional angle on your personality, your character, that's totally fine. Like, I think a lot of the times, like, admissions officers don't want to read that much. They only have so much time for each application. So if there's not much the letter is going to add to your application, don't include it. What I think MIT is looking for is students who are nice, involved in their community, do well in school, and pursue their passions. A big part of the culture at MIT is collaboration. So if you're aiming for that, show the colleges that you're good at working with people. You enjoy working with others, collaborating with others, and you're a people person. Not to say that you have to be super extroverted, but just like that you're a nice person that people like to be around can go a long way. Again, they practice a holistic admission process, so grades aren't everything, but I would say it's one of the most important things. Above all, be genuine in your application. Really showcase all their passions and talents. The admission officers want to know who you are. It doesn't really help if you're really like stretching it, you're really over-exaggerating your accomplishments. They know that we are students, most of us are 17 or 18 years old. You don't have to be a superhuman in order to get in. Just remember that there's no one type of person that MIT or any school for that matter wants. They are looking for a wide range of people so that they can fill up their class to have a nice variety of interesting and passionate people. And take it from me, at least like for MIT, you do not have to be super focused on STEM. If you are, that's great, but you don't have to be. So don't be discouraged by the fact that MIT is a STEM school. Just go for it, really. It doesn't hurt to try. Just be yourself. Another thing that I think is pretty helpful is if you do a sport and you're pretty good at it, it doesn't hurt to contact the coaches and see if you can get like recruited. MIT doesn't do official recruiting, so there's no like national signing day or anything. But if the coach thinks that you'd be a great addition to the team, then they can write a letter of support for you to send to the admissions office and accompany application. And I think that can help. So for me, I'm a nationally ranked fencer, and I've been fencing since I was 8 years old. So I probably didn't go about the process the correct way. I filled out the form on my team's website and everything for athletes, but I didn't reach out to the coach. I didn't reach out to the coach until after I turned in my application. Like literally the day I turned in my application, I reached out to the coach. So I don't think fencing was like as official as some of the other sports are at MIT. But I know some of my friends, they've been in contact with the coaches for a very long time. But yeah, so they reached out to coaches a long time ago and they've been in contact with them. And they also had to post on social media that they're like officially committing to MIT. I haven't done that for fencing because the coach didn't tell me to. But yeah. So moral of the story is if you do a sport, you're pretty good at it, reach out to the coaches, doesn't hurt. Good luck. Even if you don't get into your dream school, that is okay. There are so many pathways to get through life, and you don't need like a specific college in order to reach that goal. And also, getting into college doesn't make your life better. So just keep that in mind. College is just like 4 years of your life, maybe more if you really want to go to like grad school or things like that. I guess for MIT, like even if you don't get into MIT, it's not the end of the world because yes, it's a great school, but it may not be as good of a fit for you as you think it is. And I feel like the admission officers kind of can tell what kind of student will thrive at their school. So maybe, like I guess in my experience, I applied early admission to UPenn Wharton, thinking that like, oh yes, it's the best fit for me, and I ended up getting deferred. I was like devastated for 2 days. I was like, what am I gonna do now? There's no way that it's gonna take me to have MIT coming out in 2 days. and I was like, oh, I don't think I fit in at MIT at all. Like, they're all STEM students, and I'm not, and although I enjoy STEM, I'm not a super STEM focused person. I'm an extracurricular that's really focused on STEM. I had like 2 STEM awards, and that was it, and that's from my school. So I really thought like, oh, there's no way I can get in. It's not a good fit for me at all. Then after I got in, I was talking to a lot of other MIT admins and also current students at MIT, and I just realized like this community fits me so well, and I had no idea it would be like this, and it's really unexpected. So if you don't end up getting in, that's okay. The school just wasn't a good fit for you, and that's totally fine. You're gonna find a school that matches your personality, your dreams, and your talents, and it's all really fun. After I got in, I was kind of just surfing through MIT's blog, and I found a post that was literally telling me like how to get into MIT, and they had 3 points of advice. First one was like do well in school. Second one was like be nice, and third one was like be passionate. So literally, I think those was like the 3 most important things that they look for. As they say in their blog post, if you get in and you follow all 3 things, like congratulations, you know that these 3 things are the main thing that got you in. But even if you don't get in, guess what? You still did well in school, you were nice and involved in a community, and you were also passionate for the things you did. So again, it's not the end of the world if you don't get into a certain college. You still spent these years like pursuing the things you're interested in and being a good student. So yeah, that's all I have for today. If you have any specific questions in your application, such as like you want help looking through essays, or you have questions about how to list certain things in your application, or just like general emotional support with the process with the notes relations with time, feel free to email me at christineincollege@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Bye bye!